Welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me. Happy Friday, everybody. I just wanted to mix in a quick SOFi video to kind of wrap up the week. The question on everybody's mind right now, and I am going to try to keep this relatively quick because honest to God, there's plenty of U-turders that are a lot smarter than me and a lot more in depth that cover SoFi extensively. It's probably was one of the retail favorite stocks. It remains one of the retail favorite stocks. Welcome and hello to the great Carl Seamark. Welcome and hello to everybody, guys. It's Un Poco Moss. Hello and welcome, welcome and hello. Thank you for tuning in. So I just want to talk. Here's kind of the I don't know what you'd call it, the theme of this show. I guess I really just kind of ramble all the time, but people, this is kind of the point we're at right now, where it's sort of a weird dichotomy because we're in a bull market. Tech earnings continue to impress. The AI movement is sort of driving everything forward and up. You see everyone from Facebook Facebook just 5x almost overnight. You see Microsoft very, very strong, Google coming back off of 150 and pushing to 210. Even Amazon got nailed over earnings, coming back strong. You see and it's not just Nvidia now in the chip side, it's AMD, it's others. You're going to this rising tide of AI is kind of lifting all the boats right now, and it's driving everybody's accounts up. And there's just sort of this, I think, unrealistic euphoria that everything's kind of hunky-dory, when I personally think they're, economically, as a society, we're kind of rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic unless we deal with the debt bomb. But I don't want to make this like a whole, Ron Paul, go back to the gold standard tinfoil hat type of show. I want to try to basically talk about, people are asking, should I take profits? Should I take profits on SoFi? To me, I'm not here. Where I take profits usually is on my calls. I don't like to sell my shares on little pops, because the way this thing moves, goes up and down so fast, you end up washing your shares, you end up getting hurt on taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, guys. And this is just a train wreck, this show, this channel, my entire life. It's just ridiculous, guys. I'm also testing out a new format come Monday. It's going to be a weight loss show. I'm going short man boobs. I'm going long Danny deals. So I'm thinking about doing a weekly weigh-in. It's just, you guys can bet and wager on it. They'll probably put it on like FanDuel and all that stuff. How fat is Danny this week? But anyway, that could be a little incentive, because I'm very disciplined in some ways, but I get older and older, it just gets harder and harder to get into shape. So I'm trying to crowdsource a sense of shame or some willpower. Because I'm more embarrassed and insecure, where I'll probably actually lose the weight if you guys are heckling me and smacking my assy nipples unmerciful if I don't come in with enough weight loss. But I got a bottom line, guys. I mean, it's not pretty. I got to drop about 83 elbows. That's a lot of weight, dude. That's a lot of cheeseburgers. That's a lot of quesadillas. But I feel like if I crowdsource my shame to YouTube, I might actually get something done. If I just keep it in the closet with the 12-pack of tacos and a bunch of tears, nothing's happening. So we might crowdsource the fat shame to, and I'm not for fat shaming anybody, but dude, if anybody's really heavy, and I'm a lot lighter than I used to be, but being heavy just sucks. It's you don't do the things you want to do. It just holds you back. You don't maybe have the career you want, the travel you want, the whatever it is, the romantic life you want, play the sports you want, do the activities you want. You just gotta, and especially as you get older, you just don't see a lot of really big old guys. I swear, You don't see, not only don't you see a lot of 300-pound 80-year-olds, you don't even see a lot of 300-pound 70-year-olds or 65-year-old. You see a lot of 300-pound like 58-year-olds at their funeral, you know. And I try to be really active, healthy, you know, big fat guy, but I think my heart is just like to the point where like, hey, you've rolled the dice for enough years just abusing me. So let's get this thing in shape. Anyway, if any of you guys want to join me on a weekly basis and check in on my weight loss journey, I don't want to do a bunch of different channels. You know, like, oh, you can't do that on your, you know, your fat head, assy nips on your. And I'm trying to not work blue here, guys. I know my show's pointless, but somebody took issue with the show where I talked a lot about my doctor diagnosing a particular proctological problem, and so I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to work blue anymore because it's just turning off my audience. And, you know, my audience is everything to me. Just trying to grow and cultivate this audience. So meaningful. So meaningful. I don't even know what this show is. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. What do you know? I basically want to sort of talk about, should you take profits right now? I was having a discussion with Low Country Luton Pond. How do you know when to take profit? It's very difficult because you're reading the market as much as you're reading your particular investment. There's so many things that go into this. But when I really feel like if this bull market keeps up just a little bit longer, SOFi is going to all-time highs. I think a lot of these other stocks are kind of out of steam. In the short run, I think you're going to see, you know, Palantir retrace a little bit, perhaps Robinhood, some of these others. The reason I think SOFi is got a lot of upside right now is because everyone is just pulling their head out of their arse and realizing what this company is. Oh, the just the bank crowd, the dead stock crowd, they were silenced long ago. The defaults are going to rise crowd. Those guys got fired from their companies and left town. They'll probably pop up somewhere else doing perhaps First Amendment audits on the YouTube. Name and badge number. Name and badge number. He's like, I'm Deputy Morris. Why do all you guys have speech impediments? I don't know. I love First Amendment auditors, but it's going really weird where they're just walking through these like municipal offices, like the water department. Some old ladies in there doing like bookkeeping. Guys just shoving a camera in her face, like, you're a municipal worker. Yeah, I mean, the lady's terrified. She doesn't know who you are. Wearing like a baklava and like carrying a bunch of bear spray. You got like 4 cameras strapped to you. Like you could have a bomb on you. I mean, you look like a lunatic. You just walked in and said, hello, hey, I'm a member of the public. Like, want to look around a little bit. Probably wouldn't have a problem. You know, it's a lot of things. It's not what you do, but it's how you do it. Like the guys that are super chill. Is it chill? I like that guy who says, is it chill? It's like fishes on the sidewalk. I can't remember what his name is. He's a comedian. Now he's into like, now he's a natty bodybuilder. And such a weird guy. I forget that guy's name. He's funny. Anyway, so the point of this show is what again? I have no idea. Why I believe SOFi, if everything kind of holds where it is, and I think it's going to happen relatively, you guys can see the chart, how beautiful, what a big, beautiful chart this is. Like, look how nice this respects channels. The algos are still running the stock. Yeah, it dips down a little bit right here. Test the line again. Look how many times it just perfectly, the low bounces off this line. And then it's starting to move up slightly. And look at the high, same thing. This is just a beautiful channel. And I think, you know, we just keep riding this up. There's a lot of reasons for that. Well, I'm not going to try to go over the options. There's people, you know, much better than that, than I am, but option sentiment is bullish. Okay. And then take a look at what's going on with the short. It's quite illuminating. I don't mean to be voluminous. Oh, you guys are so stupid. I hate you guys. No, I don't. I think I might hate myself. I think I hate society. I'm just sick of everything. I become a bitter old man way, way, way too early. Oh, society passed me by. Now you guys are doing everything with AI. You got bots trading. I'm over here just trying to grind out a profit. Can afford a Jersey Mike's. Okay, they really retreated today. Cost to borrow is still like nothing on this stock as it always is, but what's interesting, the short interest is still 112 million shares, but there's only 58 million shares on loan. When the shares on loan are much higher than the short interest, in my experience, they're about to attack the stock. This indicates to me that, the shorts are really starting to give up on SoFi. It's they picked this bone, made a ton of money on this stock, and I think the jig is up at this point. But you never know. I think if it goes, if the stock goes to 30, which I think it's going to, you remember, guys, not long ago I said it's going to go to 23.75, check up, retrace. It did almost exactly that, and then I said it's going to move up again to all-time highs. And I said by the end of the year, it's all happening considerably faster than I thought it would. But it's not just that, options and I believe the shorts giving up is telling me the stock's going to go higher. Basically, they have, remember these shorts were shorting the stock really heavily from $7. These are the ones that are still hanging on, still just taking incredibly heavy losses. And I think I don't think there's a lot of shares. I don't think retail is dumping. I don't think there were that many traders in the stock. I don't think that many people really thought this was going to break through 20. I think a lot of people were believing the narrative. Another thing that I think is telling here is that last time SoFi was at all-time highs, if you go back like 5 years, just over here, I mean, it's even higher than these closes right now, but this was 2021. Okay, when it was at that price. Look at what SoFi was. It hadn't even hit $1 billion in sales. And you're talking about over just the course of 5 years, more than 3xing sales, becoming profitable, building all these businesses. But the flywheel is completely misunderstood because it's not really just the products. It's like an ever expanding vortex, drawing in revenue, drawing in members, drawing in market share. And it's so much more than the products that are at SoFi. It's the member base. I remember, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I said Noto is building what a lot of people said, why don't they put their foot on the gas more? Why don't they make more loans? They have a much higher capacity. I said, because Noto is smarter than you. He's smarter than me. He's better looking than all of us. And he knows what he's doing. Trust him. He's building what I remember writing this on my whiteboard. Ultra high value, up and coming, basically yuppie scum. These are people that are making a ton of money, highly educated, but they're young. They're not wealthy yet, but they're going to be wealthy. And SoFi wants that member for life. And that's what Noto is building. But you think they will just want to sell the products on the flywheel to this member forever and make a ton of money. And they do. And they are going to. But the thing is, they're also going to sell that ultra high quality member base to other vendors so they can sell them all their stuff, all their tchotchkes. So they're not just selling products, they're selling members. That's why they kept the standards so high, because the model only works when you have high quality members, you have low defaults. You can't take on the riffraff like these other fintechs. They just sign everybody up, give everybody a loan. I just think like everyone is finally waking up to what SoFi is, and everybody's saying, okay, well, the stock's already at a fair value, so it's time to sell or it's time to hold. It's definitely not time to buy. This is what Kitty Wood said about Tesla, is sort of the coiled spring thing. She's like, it was held down so long, so hard, shorted so heavily. The whole market, was against it. It was like the entire market's redheaded stepchild. That act of holding it down, that's why I thought the stock was going to check up at like 14. And then I thought it was going to check up, 23.75. Now I think it's going to go to all-time highs. I think because I just underestimated the amount of buying pressure that would come in once the narrative did a complete 180 and this was a darling again, like it was when they first announced it. But the anti-SPAC, the student loan, the whole thing, it has just been one entire fugazi to try to screw retail at the bottom. The The other thing, I think people talk a lot about the fee-based, revenues becoming such a large part of the company as part of the revenue mix. But I think what they're missing is the fact that SoFi was built to have incredible incremental margins. I've heard Chris LaPointe talk about this. In other words, all the fixed costs are paid. This is a digital native. There's no branches. You need very, very few additional people to bring on additional members. You need very few additional employees. You don't have to pay servers. You don't have to pay AI. You don't have to pay digital assistants. SoFi built a better mousetrap. It's a free cash flow machine. They're going to make more money than any of these other fintechs because they focused on quality. They focused on foundation. Noto could have pumped this stock 2 years ago by just making loans to everybody. Just pump the numbers. He had a huge revenue number, could have pumped the stock huge on an earnings, sold all his shares, bought an island, whatever. Could have done whatever he wanted. That's not who this guy is. This guy stays and he gets the job done and he executes. It's a better model. It's better management. It's better execution. And everybody's waking up to it. And I think everybody wrote off the tech side way too early. I think the total addressable market on the tech side is much bigger. It's not just banks. It's not just financial institutions. Anybody can be a quasi-financial institution if Anthony Noto's your big brother and he's got your back. Anybody can. So I don't know. But this is interesting because this guy's really smart. I don't know how you really pronounce his name. Dair Samgayev. Sorry, guys, need some water. What's up, Matt Flo? How you doing? Good to see you. Pop up for my so notice you don't come by for my garbage penny stock videos where I'm losing 100% of my capital and just crying into my soup down at the old bread line. Don't see you then, Matt Flo. No, good to see you, Matt. Thanks for stopping by. The great Jeff Presley is here. John Bland Jovi. I think most SoFi investors really believe this at the beginning and are long. Yeah, I think the core does, but I think there's this whole group of people that sort of bought it, when it sort of was catching fire, the swing trader crowd, the momentum crowd, and now that's why it kind of checks up occasionally. But anyway, I want to read this bearish article because it's just, it's a good article and this guy's smart. I've read him for quite some time. Anyway, I acknowledge the potential missed upside, a positive catalyst, but we have caution, current risks about basically it's valuation. He's just saying, the valuation. I'm not going to argue for 1 minute that this isn't a fair valuation for the money we're making now, the EPS, but here's what I think. You have to get paid for that foundational work that, again, hasn't really paid off yet. It pays off over time. Remember when they talked about the annual cost savings for SoFi proper from the acquisition and integration of Galileo and Technesis as their core? We're going to eventually be saving $120 million per year. So that company is going to pay for all those acquisitions over time, no matter what happens with these tech sales. And frankly, I think tech sales are going to take off because it's just too expensive for these mid-size and smaller institutions to do themselves. And if they try to do it themselves, they're going to do it poorly. You don't want to try to cut your own hair to save $1 unless you're Mark Davis, one of the, Las Vegas Raiders. He looks great. Lloyd Christmas. Name's Christmas. I don't know. Jivo, I'll take a look at it. I'm trying to analyze stocks on the fly. I'm not smart enough. It just ends up looking like an asshole. What's up, Billy Jack? What is Jivo? No, I have heard of that stock, but I don't know anything about it. So I'd have to look, but I will. Yeah, Cameron, that's the other thing I was going to say. Noto just came out and was, I guess, giving a timeline. It was not a lurker who sent me the details on Twitter of when you could expect certain options and stuff. I don't know if that was real or not. I have to take a look, but basically they are going to come out with options. They are coming back with crypto, and that kind of makes I think completes the financial super app. You have to look at that point. What are they missing? And I think they offer a lot. If you can give somebody a better rate, a better deal, home loan, student loan, I don't think they care about the jeweled credit card. I think these are more serious people that have like life goals. I think that, I said it before, it's Robinhood is traders, SoFi is savers. And there's nothing wrong with traders. I've been a trader most of my life. I've been a compulsive gambler, some would say. A degenerate compulsive gambler. A fat degenerate compulsive gambler, some would say. They would be correct. But it's a low blow. Anytime you're going to get me in the nuts, it's a low blow these days. It's low-hanging fruit, figuratively and literally. Matt Flo is rich. I don't know. That's why you're here. No, that's why you don't buy penny stocks, because you're smart. It's not just because you're rich, it's because you're smart. I guess you might be rich because you're smart. Or you inherited money. I have no idea. But no, good for you. Let's see. Evo makes fuel that has zero emissions. It's what is it? All right, I gotta look now. The hell is Gevo? See, but then there's never any information. You got to go through the news. You can't just like go through these stupid charts. So what is it? A 435 million market cap. They're losing a quarter. Negative earnings, second quarter, carbon credits. Oh man. Earnings surpass estimates. I don't know. So they're selling tax credits. I don't know. I'd have to look. I have no idea, man. What do you like about it? Or do you like it? Are you short it? Or whatever? I don't know. I'm getting a few nods in terms of at least surpassing analyst estimates, but I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'll take a look at it if it's interesting. But it'd be nice if you, down in the comments, just give me like, what do you like about the stock? If you own it, why do you own it? What piqued your interest, or are you just taking a look at it, or whatever? But this is a good article if you want to talk about it. You want to read it. Normalized EPS, the beat on GAAP, the beat on revenue, and it was high quality, not growth. And this is what I'm talking about. It's their emphasis on quality members, their emphasis on low defaults, far below their own projections. This company, it just screams quality, high standards, excellent management. They don't chase short-term numbers. Again, it must have been very, very tempting for Noto when the shorts were just hammering the stock. There was all these false narratives out there, all these the bologna sandwich, they just coming out and saying, up is down, saying defaults are going to go through the roof. It just never happened. And even some analysts were saying defaults are up. It never actually came to fruition. Noto's estimates and SoFi team's estimates were always extremely, extremely conservative, worst case scenario. Never came anywhere close to anything like that, because they have such high standards on the front end. It's garbage in, garbage out, guys. You make garbage loans, you're going to get a bunch of defaults. You're extremely, extremely selective and reject almost most loan applicants, and you go with the best of the best, the people that pay their bills. You're going to be absolutely fine when there's a downturn. And that's what Noto plans for. I've said it many times. He's the pig who built this house out of bricks. And the big bad wolf can, pound sand. But yeah, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I just read it a little while ago. He always emphasized managed investors. SoFi maximize cross-selling potential. Financial services companies, SoFi only has two ways to grow: by expanding its customer base or selling more services to its current customers. I disagree. They can also market their customers to other outside companies. I guess that is selling more services, but it's a different revenue mix. So I don't know. The first method has limitations, penetrating. Again, I just read this, so I don't want to read it to you, but read it yourself. It's a good article. I mean, it's a quality. You might read this, you might say, hey, I'm going to take some profits on SoFi. And I'm not mad at you. You got to research and form your own opinion. I mean, SoFi was just at 7 not long ago. I mean, it's 3x. Anytime a stock 3x, you got to, but look what happened with Palantir. Is it going to make a Palantir-like run? No. It's just not that sexy. Nobody's going to give this like a 600x EPS. I don't know. I guess, Noto doesn't have crazy hair. It's a little bit too little bit too Main Street, if you know what I mean. A little bit too Ward Cleaver. Anyway, yeah, recession canceled. What's going on? Sean Markey, SRM contracting. I'm doing okay, doing okay. What are you in the? What do you got? Where are you working there? Little excavator? What do you got going there? Those old eyes can't see. It looks like you got some kind of you get some kind of red excavator there. I'm assuming you were Polish. I'm assuming you eat brats, like every good working man. Not selling SOFi. Yeah, I'm not selling it either. I just not at this. I mean, if it popped up to 40 or something right away, yeah, I would sell. I would probably sell, honestly, because I would believe at that point it would be significantly overvalued, even for the 30% growth, even as good as I think Team SOFi. I think it could be 40, 50, even higher in the future. I think it will be. But you always have to be cognizant of valuation, and you have to take a sober look at it. You can't just say, I love SOFi. I buy SOFi shirts. I buy SOFi hats. I dream about SOFi. I get specially made windbreakers 4XL just so I can pretend Noto finally acknowledged me as his illegitimate fat son that is approximately the same age as him, and just unusually fat for that type of great genetics that Anthony Noto possesses. Hey, sometimes thin, athletic CEOs have a dim-witted fat son. I don't know. Interesting. Selling leaps at $49 shares, sold 1,000 Palantir shares, got about 7,500. I like the move, Billy Jack. I love the move long term. I mean, I have absolutely no problem holding Palantir through this, what I believe will be some significant retracement. I think there has to be. For Palantir to justify that valuation, their top line should be growing like 100% at least. Hold on, guys. I have to go to the bathroom. Sorry. I'm getting so old. I've been drinking tea all day, but I did quit coffee. I'll be right back. If you want to leave, please do. I hate you guys. Hey, sorry about that, guys. I always wash my hands even when I'm in a rush, even if I pee on my leg. So anyway, that was pretty much, I guess, what did I scratch out here on my paper? I think people are underestimating the fee-based revenue. I think people are underestimating the inherent value of the member base that Anthony Noto and SOFi are building, not just in the sense of what can they sell these people, but in the sense of how can you completely expand the entire paradigm of what this company is, what it does, who it partners with, how it partners with them. Is the NFL, NBA, or those partnerships just limited to these, or could that expand exponentially in the future to exploit, synergies with SOFi and the sports world? And it's just, there's incredible amounts of potential with what this company can do, what this company can be. And I think that their emphasis on quality, their emphasis on foundational investments that don't pay off quickly, but will pay off in the long run. That's the type of company I want to invest in. It's not the type of company that's all about flash, that's all about somebody in tight pants, coming out on a stage so I can get a good look at his bulge and his expensive shoes. It's not what I'm into. I mean, hey, impressive bulge. I mean, like I said, I'm not gay, but I'm extremely gay friendly. I have no problem acknowledging a bulge. It's a look. I mean, I much of the time do wear a wrestling singlet just in, mixed company. Going back to the fat guy stuff, don't usually have an issue with bulge. Your groundhog's predicting a lot more winter, if you know what I'm saying. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? I have no idea what that. I'm so tired, guys, too. Just complete. It's not just being old and fat and grumpy and stupid. It's like not sleeping. So many things are just off. I gotta do Danny Deals like 3.0. 2.0 went nowhere. 2.0 has been in beta for like 30 years. Just no retail launch on the schedule. 3.0, Danny's got to kind of up the game. Like I said, I'm shorting man boobs. I'm going long on Danny. Anybody want to see a daily show? I just think a daily show would be terrible. Sorry, I had a pimple behind my ear. Oh, so many things. I don't think the pimple behind my ear is really a result of getting old. I think it's just something that happens. Waiting for a SOFi kind of run SMCI. SMCI, guys, right at this point is so undervalued. It's just the fact that they've even been able to push down this much is just, I think, just ridiculous. I mean, it's back down way below this year's sales, and they make money. The debt is well under control, manageable. The whole narrative of this company that's just some dangerous, it's very, very, it's not SOFi safe. SOFi, I think, is one of the safest investments you could possibly make with your money. It's a machine. The growth is not going to stop. It's an unstoppable force of nature. And it's not just gobbling up members and revenue. They're going to keep adding more and more things to that flywheel, and they're going to keep adding more flywheels. It's not just going to be the it's going to be in 3 dimensions. It's not a 2-dimensional flywheel. Think of it as a Ferris wheel where Anthony Noto sits on top and just, whips the competition with a bullwhip. Think about the film Pale Rider. Think about the film Apocalypse Now. Think about the film All the President's Men. Think about the film Dunstan Checks In. Yeah, the disastrous ER commentary, it worked for years, Roth trade. It worked for years. I mean, it didn't really work because some of us, at least like me, I was buying all the shares I could possibly afford to buy, down in the 4s. I took money in like my home equity line of credit. I went into debt and bought those shares. I mean, I didn't say that at the time because I don't want other people to do that because it's stupid, especially on a stock that's, much maligned everywhere, but I just didn't buy it. I'm just looking at Noto's track record. I'm looking at what he's building. I'm looking at him continuously put his own funds into the stock in the open market on those dips. I'm like, I'm buying with Noto. I'm buying with Payush. Ride or die. Memphis, Tennessee. Know what I'm saying? Dirty South. Know what I'm saying? Yes, I know what you're saying. I'm saying DJ Patrick Drizzle. Not saying. What's up? Not saying. Yeah, I know. What's going on? The great Paul Gardner. The future is unwritten. I think that says unwritten. I can't see below the little U-tiered play arrow. Kind of ruin everybody's avatar with that red arrow. I want to see Paul Gardner's full expression of his avatar. I want to see the full circle. Nobody puts Paul Gardner in a corner. That's for sure. I love doing the Rockford Files, by the way. Your male pattern baldness perfectly matched the T-tops of your Firebird. Oh, the things I notice. What's wrong with me, guys? Whatever happened to the therapist from Orange County who used to diagnose me? That guy was very, very helpful. Kept me just hanging on till my last shred of sanity, and then he went away and everything's gone downhill. I mean, I've been making money hand over fist, but that's nothing new for me. I can fall off a log and pick a good stock. I know I pick a lot of turds too, but I don't lose very much money on my turds. The key is, guys, it doesn't matter how many winners and losers you pick. It matters how you manage your money and whether you take profits and whether you minimize your losses, whether you preserve your capital. It's essentially your mindset. You don't chase. You don't trade based on fear. You don't dump good stuff at the bottom just because of price action. You're not always in a panic just because you have a tiny wing, no savings, no prospects. You're unable to form lasting relationships. You're always dissembling, not facing things head on. Oh, Danny Deals 3.0, guys, dropping Monday. It's going to be a total beast. Going to lose 83 pounds. How fast do you guys think I can lose 83 pounds being an old fat guy who's lazy and eats a lot of bullshit and is just completely full of shit? Just endless nonsense. You guys think I can even get it done? Should I even try? Or should I just, sit at a desk, get older and fatter until the massive infarction takes me home? I think you fight. I don't think you go gentle into that good night as an old fat man. I'm not going. I ain't going out like that. 1 year. Cameron, I'm going to say I'm going to get it done by June 1st. I'm going to get it done by June 1st. 83 pounds of weight loss. I'm not going to give myself the full year. I think I can. I've done it faster. I mean, I've yo-yoed. I mean, I've walked the cat, whatever. I don't remember the yo-yo tricks, but I've probably gained and lost like several thousand pounds over my life. Absolutely ridiculous. Just a big fat fuck. What's going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm not talking about SOFi. I'm just kind of like, just kind of trying not to die. Can't give you guys good. So I'm not going to be such a degenerate like trader. I'm not going to be like trading calls like day to day, like minute by minute, just grinding out, 30% micro profits in like 20 minutes on some bullshit waterfall dip. It's easy money. It's free money. But guys, I don't mean to sound like I'm not like any type of like wealthy person, like, financial education Jeremy or Stock Mo or Tevis, for God's sake. None of us are on Tevis level. Maybe Matt Flo is on Tevis level, where he has different girlfriends in like all the Mediterranean countries and south of France, of Villa. Tevis is yet to invite me to his villa or onto his yacht. But it is a big shout out to the Canadian fintech mafia. Provide a tremendous amount of value. Tanner made me so much money, and Steve. I mean, I did a little bit different because I trade, but like PayPal, New, they ran New up for me from like 10 to 15. I made so much money on calls. It was absurd. Same thing with PayPal. I'm just playing those swings, like the Steve factor, the big sexy. When Steve talks, stocks move. Man has a giant head and an intellect to match. I feel like if Steve's head was in a head-on collision with a granite boulder, toss up. Going with my man. The big sexy. No, Steve, such a smart guy too. I mean, the amount of value you can find on YouTube for free is just the analysis. I was watching, Tanner's like new analysis, different analysis on SOFi. I know he's extremely bullish on. It's not that he was ever not bullish on SOFi, but I guess, when you're on YouTube, you got to like, you talk about a lot of different stuff. It's not like SOFi obsessed like I was, but just some incredible, information that is just everybody's disseminating for free. And I guess, most people are smart enough. They're making like advertising revenue and selling stuff. I'm just kind of, talking for my, whatever type of mental health benefit I fantasize I might get from rambling on. But yeah, SMCI at $45. You're talking about a market cap. I think, what is that, around 26 billion or something like that? God, these stocks are just going crazy today. Was that Sunrun up 30% or something? So yeah, you're talking about a 27 billion market cap. They sold 22 billion last year. They're saying at least 33 billion. Even analysts have them at 30, some at 31. They're making money. They're not buried in debt. They're right at the beginning of this Blackwell cycle. They're talking about taking their, mega customers from 4 to 6 to 8 this year. So they already have those deals done. They just don't want to actually come out and announce that they're done because they've been, flogged so hard for talking out of school, talking out their backside, talking some jive, talking some smack, talking some trash. Know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm saying, guys. Nah, I'm saying. Oh, so what did we cover? SOFi, fat guys, heart attacks, how fast I can lose weight, the fact that I'm probably not going to be able to do it. But seriously, if I don't lose weight every week, just mock me unmerciful. Just take a big dead fish and beat me about the face, breast, head, neck, and chest. Do your worst. Throw me down a flight of stairs. Kick me in the head with some big clown shoes. Just get silly. Silly little freak. Frank Rizzo, open your fucking ears, jackass. People outside, I don't know who they are. There's people outside my office, probably bill collectors. What do you want? It's you have so many SOFi shares. Why haven't you paid your rent-to-center? What kind of person with resources like me gets everything from rent-to-center? I end up paying $50,000 for a $500 washing machine. No, these payments are so convenient. So I'm buying a refrigerator and I'm paying $99 a month? No, a week. I pay the whole thing off in 4 weeks then. It's like a $400. No. You're on a 38-week installment. So I'm going to pay $40,000 for this $500 refrigerator? Well, no, you're not going to own it at the end. You're leasing it. What? Dude, it's just I don't know, man. The financial tools that are available to the people who aren't in the top tier, not the top 1%, but not the top 10%, maybe not the top 50%. The rent to own crowd, and that I wish I had the brains to somehow set up some type of lending, something that made more sense than the financing options that are available. I know that's kind of the point behind a lot of these fintechs, but I don't know. I'm still the people I know that sort of aren't don't have the top financial literacy, don't necessarily have traditional bank accounts or Cash App and different things. A lot of them are getting horrible deals. And that's another reason I just really like to support SOFi. Is not just the fact that I like them as an investment, but I really feel like they're a fairly ethical company. I think they're not out there to screw their customers, grow quickly, cash grab, bait and switch. I think it's, from what I can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty honest. It's pretty upfront. And they're giving a much, much better deal in terms of interest, in terms of loans, than almost anybody else out there. I'm not saying they're the very top, but they're certainly very, very competitive. And I think they're only going to get more so. Incremental margins. Watch this space. As SOFi expands their revenue, expands their membership base, their fixed costs don't change. Their marginal costs change very little. And they're going to start bringing an absolute ton of these new marginal revenues to the bottom line. And I think these numbers on EPS are going to shock people. When they, left these 2026 projections, 55 to 85. I don't know if those are still in place, but I think it can even be more than that. I think people have underestimated this company since the beginning, and I think they continue to do so. And I think they're doing it at their own peril, because I think Anthony Noto is better than almost any executive, the team he's built. I just think SOFi is absolutely bulletproof. SOFi is absolutely unstoppable. SOFi is absolutely inevitable. They are going to become a huge company. They're going to be a household name, and the market cap is going to grow. And if you're patient with this investment, I think it can be a complete life changer. Now you say, oh, Palantir went up, Hood went up, and God bless the people that made money in that. I'm not hating. I've hit some and I've missed some, and I've picked a lot of losers. I've kissed a lot of frogs. That's the way it is. But I've managed my money intelligently so that I don't get hurt. And I get my money in at the bottom on winners. I don't buy the hysteria. I don't buy the hype. If you're buying with everybody else after the move, you are the mark. Don't be the mark. Move early or don't move at all. Don't chase. Don't trade on fear. Don't trade on, euphoria. Trade on logic. Trade on valuation. Trade on what makes sense. You can trade on momentum, but just know what you're doing. Don't tell yourself something has a certain value just because you want it to have that value. The same way, Palantir is getting paid an absurd, return for their growth. I don't think SOFi is being paid enough. I think SOFi should be trading at least 10x sales. At least 10x sales. You can't believe what fell. I don't want to get into my horrible Teddy KGB impression. Paul, I completely agree with you. I said that a long time ago. And I just, they're getting it done. Chris and Paul, I love you guys. Absolutely. That's why I'm holding all my shares, my second largest position. It would be my first, except I just can't sell enough Microsoft. I sold some on that pop at like 550. I've been taking profits a lot of places, guys. I'm taking profits on Tesla, taking profits on Bank of America. I've taken some profits on, what else did I take some profits on the other day? I can't even remember. I took profits on CRISPR on calls, near the top, like in the 60s. I took profits on SMCI 3 times on a lot of calls. Huge profits, massive, massive profits. So this year has been, remember I said at the beginning of the year, I'm going to do a SOFi challenge. I'm going to put $10,000 in my SOFi account. How much would you guys guess? And I know you might think I'm lying. I don't lie to you guys. I'm not going to prove anything. I'm not doing a dick measuring contest at my age. I'm going to lose. That's fine. I'm okay with who I am. But how much would you guys guess is in that account that I started with 10,000 at the beginning of the year? Just take a wild guess. I'll tell you higher or lower. Well, I did it, Paul, because like I said, I transferred almost everything out because I was like, when are they going to get covered calls online? And there was a lot of shares where I'm like, I didn't really want to sell covered calls, so I was okay leaving them there. But as the market sort of started to stagnate again, I was like, I got to move a lot of these shares out. And, I transferred them to different places, JP Morgan and Webull. And I have a bunch of different stock accounts, but almost all of them that are known I have. Some of them I don't have money in. Some of them I have a small amount of money in. Some of them I have a very large amount of money in. But in any case, I left 10,000 there. I'll throw the results up with some of my weight loss, but it's been pretty crazy. No, Paul, much, much more than that. Much more. That would be 10x. We're like, you've never 10x the stock. Oh, yeah. 100x stocks. I own this market. I destroy the market year after year. I was a poor fat kid. I don't care. It's not about ego. Like, why don't you post your accounts? So, I don't want people to know everything about me. I want people to know how much money I have. Maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's a little. It's not, for LA, it ain't shit. LA, unless you have like 100 million, dude, you're a small fish. Like, you need 10 million net worth in LA just to be poor. Can't even get a decent house for 5. Yeah. No, guys, would you last time I checked, there was like 420, 425 from 10. And that was just on SMCI and CRISPR calls for a lot of SMCI calls. But I was running like 1,000% profits, 800% profits, just waterfalls of profits. It's SOFi calls. That wasn't in that account. I mean, my SOFi leaps and stuff just gone absolutely insane. This has been one of those markets where I'm just seeing the field, I'm seeing what's going to happen. I'm seeing the winners. I'm seeing the losers. And it's just been absolutely like astronomical gains. But I don't know. There's a lot of gurus out there. Like, I don't trust any of them. I don't trust myself. I would only trust yourself, but it's just the folks who are giving you these like option strategies, these wheel strategies. You have the tools to build wealth with almost no risk, but like so many people just are still not doing it. They're still just buying and panic selling and moving in and out of the market and buying, weekly calls. And you have no idea what they're doing, or you make a ton of profit on calls and then you don't take profits and you keep holding. I keep saying, sell your weekly calls on the pop on Tuesday. Buy them the previous Friday at the lows. They're driving stocks down for OPEX. Now, today was an unusual day where a lot of stocks ran, but, things were pushed up. United Health, a lot of these trades, the mega caps were up. But it's just crazy times, guys. But this volatility, these swings, it's just free money. It's just, you can get wealthy if you just use your brain, take the emotion out of it, do the opposite of what these market makers want you to do. SOFi is a prime example. I mean, this stock was just screaming buy at $5, $24. If you played options properly, you would have made 30x your money easily. Kept rolling the options properly up the hill. If you're buying far enough outside of the money, when you see this type of momentum and volume build, these are very rare opportunities, these runs. But, we've got a few bites at the apple. We got SOFi. We got SMCI made like 3 huge runs. CRISPR, massive run, doubled. But you guys really got to learn about options. I'm not going to try to teach it because my brain don't work so good. I'm not organized enough. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an Uncle Bruce. I'm not invest with Henry. I never worked at Goldman Sachs. I can't afford to party in the south of France like the great Felix. I don't have a perfectly symmetrical shaved head like TJ the Wheel Deal or the great Noto Lurker. I have some leaps, Carl. I have lost a lot of money buying calls on NEO. I've made money sometimes, but overall, it has not been a great option stock for me. I've made money selling covered calls for the longest time, but buying calls hasn't really worked out. I sell a lot more options than I buy, but lately with these markets, I've just been playing these momentum runs with calls, and it's been very fruitful. Very, very fruitful. Anyway, I know your opinion of Uncle Bruce. Listen, I'm not saying the guy made you. The problem is when. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you buy. It matters when you buy and sell and how you manage your money. You could make money with just one stock. I don't care if it's SOFi, Google, Tesla. If you understand price action and you understand options and you understand shorting and you understand where it's going and you understand smart money and you can get out ahead of the trend, you're going to make an absolute fortune, particularly if you can exploit the, essentially options give you a ton of leverage, especially if you can predict, major price movements and you can buy, far outside. That, like, with SMCI, when it hit like 18, I was buying options at like 30. And when it ran back up there, those options became extraordinarily valuable. But that's really hard. I mean, I just basically got lucky. But I get lucky over and over and over again when it comes to investing. So I love Catfish, man. Catfish, those songs are great. Like, I'm not a day trader, guys, so I don't know. I used to watch Catfish like back in the day a lot, and I do tune in sometimes, but I don't know. I like Catfish. I'm not like following the day trading and all that, but yeah, leaps are really the secret. I mean, if you're not wealthy and you can't just, have massive like portfolio stocks and shares and sell covered calls, like leaps are a great way to go because, you get all the benefits of a huge portfolio without having to have a ton of money. And let's face it, like these days, who has more than a 2 to 3 year time horizon? Nobody. We're all going to get hit by an asteroid. You got Pac-Man? It's like, no. You got Space Invaders? No. You got asteroids? No. My dad does. Some nights he can't even sit down on the toilet. The Original Vacation, Anthony Michael Hall. Rusty. Jeez. I really would. I don't know if I'm personally not buying leaps at these levels because I was buying so many down below 7.5. I've got out of some of those on these runs. Like I said, I tend to trade and take profits on calls, and I tend to hold on to my shares long term, especially with this much volatility, because I'm trying to minimize my tax. So I don't want to wash shares. Sometimes minimizing tax is a bigger goal than me than just the gross profit, because if the net profit's not going to be there, I really don't want to buy and sell unless I have to. Unless I, kind of stop believing in the thesis, which is completely the opposite with SoFi. Its earnings report was just absolutely a home run, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I've got. Nice, Paul. I'm sure you're going to do very, very well. If you have time, if you have a long-term time horizon, I would have no problem getting into some leaps now, because if you're 2 years out, I believe the stock, you're going to get those 2026 numbers under your belt, and I believe it's quite possible the stock could double. I mean, if they hit $1 per share and they're growing, the top line, that would imply to me they're probably growing the top line. It's probably re-accelerated the growth. And for a company that's growing, much larger, to actually re-accelerate the not the nominal growth, but the percentage growth on the top line, I mean, that's very, very difficult to, have increasing growth while you're rapidly increasing the size of the company. Almost always just, I don't know what they call that, the law of large numbers or something like that. The law of fat asses. I have been in and out of new a bunch of times, not been in grab. I was considering getting back into new. I was thinking, is this coming down around the 12 area? Like I said, Tanner told me to get in at, I think it was 10, and I got out around 15, made an absolute fortune on calls there. Thank you again, Tanner. I got a lot of great stocks from him. Just, the dude's a machine, just a numbers machine. And he analyzes numbers really well. He has he has kind of that teaching quality where he can kind of synthesize it all and make sense of it to those of us who just don't have the mentality to do spreadsheets and do all that for sale, and to do it for free. I know he sells stuff and stuff, and if you guys need that type of information, I would definitely buy it. And people are like, oh my god, $300. Talk about a short-sighted loser mentality. You understand the amount of work somebody like Tanner has to do to actually have just his knowledge base, just his brain, just that resource, and you think $300 is a lot. Do all that work yourself, but can't do it, can you? So you're a big dummy like me. More concerned with the surf and turf quesadillas. You guys ever had a quesadilla loaded with some big Gulf shrimp and some delicious skirt steak? Not that fake carne asada, like chopped up chuck roast. I'm talking like the real deal, like the good flank steak, or that inside skirt steak if you can't get a good flank steak. Just that nice marinade, just little surf and turf quesadilla. Just what the doctor ordered for a fat man on the verge of a heart attack. Want to eat about 3 pounds of cheese if you can. Oh, and could you load that up with some sour cream and some, Chipotle ranch, kind of crisscross that on there, just make it as fattening as possible. Oh, bigger dollop of sour cream, great. Dude, it's like if dealing crack is illegal, selling that stuff to fat people should be. We just have trouble controlling ourselves. Again, that's why I'm crowdsourcing my shame to YouTube. Guys, I'm going on an hour here. I want to cut this thing off. It's been an absolute turd. Appreciate it. Yeah, me too. I was in a little bit of Shopify. Yeah, no, he gives some great calls. Yeah, Future Investing is his channel. I'm sure all you guys probably know who Tanner is. It's like a little young porn star. He's kind of that weird mustache going, those big glasses. say a 70s era porn star. I'm just messing with you, Tanner. They'll say, "Oh my God, you made fun." I only make fun of people I like. So thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate it. Everybody, appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's un poco mas. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Keep it safe. Keep it sane. Don't drink and drive. There's no excuse. Take an Uber. You're going to kill somebody. Don't drink and drive once again. But have a great weekend. And I don't know. Maybe I'll do some videos. Probably not. But anyway, it's un poco mas. Thanks, guys. Bye.